Hi, this is Postdoc Chronicles week number 17. And so last week, my roommate Simon, who was the PhD student of Jong, finally went back to Bonn University in Germany. Okay, so last week was his last week here. And yeah, he basically, I installed with him together this. Uh, Program known as Checkmate via this Docker application. But Deepak wanted me to use the other one, Rivet, to analyze some data, some MC files from Pythia. Okay, and so far I'm already a bit comfortable in using it. So creating programs to, for example, find specific particles within a shower, or defining specific jets with a specific radius, counting how many small jets are within a large jet, and then looking at like the mass distributions and trying to reconstruct, the mass of the mother particle that decayed and cascading into all those showers and etc. Okay, and in fact, these things, I use my laptop there, my MacBook Pro, in running these programs. But last weekend, so in fact, Jong sometimes Jong goes to the university to work, and of course during weekends I don't have much to do. I just like read sci-fi or play the video game. So I told him, yeah, I'm coming as well. So during that weekend, last week, and we actually decided there's this like unused computer in my room, so we actually set it up. So there's like a monitor, a CPU, albeit an old one, but still it's useful, because so instead of like sometimes when I run things in my laptop and then read some papers, sometimes it gets really slow. So it's nice that some of the what they call this compiling, and some programs that are running, I can like run it on the big old computer instead of my Mac, so that I can do like other stuff in my MacBook. Okay, and so again, currently I am reading these papers on the, it's like a subfield of supersymmetry, SUSY, called stealth supersymmetry, which is basically these are like models of SUSY which do not rely on the E slash E sub T slash, or the missing transverse energy, because usually like the signatures, if you want to have like a to tell that the experiments in CERN are able to find like the, for example, the lightest SUSY particles. So some models rely on the missing ET, okay, so the missing transverse energy, but the stealth supersymmetry. So they claim that maybe maybe in the CERN runs, the SUSY particle is already there, but it is not based on the missing energy that we are looking at. So that's why it's called stealth supersymmetry. So it does not rely on this missing ET. And in fact, I'm also reading in order to like what do you call this, in order to help me with that investigation. Also, Jong asked me to like read a chapter in a book. So this is like an old chapter regarding SUSY, specifically a specific model of SUSY known as the MSSM, or the minimal supersymmetric standard model. Okay, so that's what I'm doing while running this program with Revit and Pythia and stuff. Okay, but enough about that. What I would like to talk about in this Postdoc Chronicles, because last weekend as well I went back. So before I went to the office during the weekend to work with Jong, I also went back to this huge mall in Santon, where it's called a pop zone. So basically a game store dedicated to Nintendo stuff. Okay, so I went there and checked if the because the Monster Hunter Generation Ultimate was out just last week for the Nintendo Switch, and I'm really excited to play that. I played that to death on my 3DS, and I don't mind playing it again on my Nintendo Switch. But the thing is, it wasn't yet available. Okay, so that's what I want to focus about as well in this Chronicles, is status of video gaming in South Africa, specifically their video game stores. Okay, before that, let me just show you this stuff that I got as well when we went to like Pilanesberg. I forgot to mention this in my last post, the Chronicles. So I have like as if you if McDonald's have these like Happy Meals that feature toys related to, for example, Pokemon, Mario, or anything Nintendo. I usually buy everything. Okay, so sometimes in the Philippines, once I went to like SM North and like ordered 8 Happy Meals, and then I ate all of them in a single sitting. Of course, not like just 1 hour, you know. So I waited for my girlfriend there during that time in SM North, and basically I spent the entire afternoon reading, yeah, on the side, and then looking at my toys, admiring my Super Mario toys, while slowly eating all the 8 pieces of Happy Meal. Of course, I don't just buy like all, for example, or hamburger. That's like overkill, you know. So it's like mix, so like 2 burgers, 2 spaghetti, or something. But yeah, usually, so that's the difficult part if you're a collector in the Philippines, is because the Happy Meal there, they usually release all the toys in one go. So the nice thing here in South Africa is that it's actually scheduled, you know. So for week one, they just produce 2 toys, and again during this month it's Mario. So during the week that we were in Pelanisburg, so they have this like maze, like a toy that you do like a maze with a ball inside, based on a level on Super Mario world. Okay, so that's very nice. And the nice thing is that, so at first I asked if like how many toys that you do you have, like the 2 toys available. So they're like, oh, we only have one, but they actually meant because typically when you buy Happy Meal, people only get one toy, and then the cashier will just ask you if you want the toy for the boy or a girl. So that's what they will ask you. When they saw me, they're like, okay, boy. They give me. Then I was like, I want to order 2 Happy Meals. I also would like the other one. And they're like, no, but those are for girls. So I'm like, no, I'm a collector. I want the 2 of them. Okay, so I got this one. Again, the maze based on the Mario world, and then this. Like I don't know, I don't understand what this is, but you like press this, and then Princess Peach like rotates or something. I don't know. I didn't open it yet, but yeah, it's cool. And then next week they will have another batch of Super Mario toys. So they have like a poster with a schedule of when the toys will come out, and again it will be divided for like boys and girls. So at least it's not as hard compared to the Philippines, because here they just release the toys 2 at a time. So it's not heavy for me. I just like buy 2 Happy Meals, and then I get the toys. Okay, but again, going back to the status of the video game here in South Africa. So again, if I took a picture of this last weekend, but I went to the mall containing the Nintendo store. I was expecting, because it's like the biggest Nintendo store, video game store in like South Africa. I was so disappointed that they didn't have MHGU, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. And they told me that if we don't have it, then for sure every other video game stores in South Africa don't have it as well. Okay, so usually the other video game stores that you can find here are just like the Philippines. So one, they have so that the main store, and then they have this franchise known as BT Games. Okay, that not only sells Nintendo but other like related games as well, like Sony for PlayStation or Xbox. And then of course you also have these toy stores with the video game section, but these usually suck because they only have the famous ones like Mario Kart, Mario Odyssey, games that I already have. Okay, but yeah, last weekend I went there, and instead of buying looking for the Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, I got myself the limited edition Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Okay, this was released last December for the Nintendo Switch. The part one of this one, of the Xenoblade Chronicles, the first one, released initially on Wii, and it was like sold out everywhere. It was very rare. Nintendo did not print it, but rather they re-released the game on the new 3DS, so you can only play it if you have a new 3DS system, not the old 3DS. Okay, I'm currently finishing that game so that I can finally open this. But basically, if I'll probably take a video while unboxing this beast right here. Okay, so one of the nice things, so this contains like soundtrack, a 200-page art book, and so on. But one of the nice things about the video game store here in Africa, and the only nice things that I noticed is that typically their limited editions are cheaper compared to the Philippines. So, for example, since these guys are rare in the Philippines, usually fans, if the stores have that in there, usually fans or get that right away. They either like pre-order it, reserve it, so it's very hard. So unlike here in South Africa, I noticed only few guys are into Nintendo stuff. And in fact, that brings me to this other game right here that I showed before that I bought. And this one I bought in Italy. Again, my souvenir is in Italy is the recently released RPG from Square Enix, which is Octopath Traveler. So usually, when I get souvenir from a place, I usually prefer video games. So I'm kind of regretting this a little bit, but only a little bit because it's still from Italy. It's still cool. But when I went to the store with the Xenoblade Chronicles, they still have the limited edition of Octopath Traveler, okay, which is very cool because it has like a pop-up art book and so on, which mimics the art style of the game itself. And again, it is cheap. It is cheaper here, the limited edition of this one. So again, like I am telling myself, I should have bought another game in Italy and then just got the limited edition of this one here in South Africa. Okay, but yeah, so far other things that I bought in South Africa, video game related. So Wolfenstein 2, I've mentioned this one. I bought this like last July before I went to Europe. And I also found a very cheap copy of Bravely Second End Layer. Okay, so Bravely Default is a very huge RPG for the 3DS. This is basically the sequel. And again, South African video games, they use European region, and 3DS is region locked. So unless if your 3DS is like homebrewed or hacked, you cannot play this. So I can play this in my 3DS because, of course, it is my 3DS is jailbreak. Okay, so it's jailbroken, so I can play this one. And of course, other than that, I was also able to buy a Procon. But again, the big problem with the video game store in South Africa is that first they only get the mainstream Switch games, okay, and not even that. They even mainstreams like Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, they get it late, so they typically don't get Nintendo Switch games on their launch date, which I really hate because I really love buying Nintendo the Switch, especially the Switch games that I love. I love buying them on their release date here in South Africa, and I can't do that, and which is really unfair because in this store, for example, stores like BT Games, when I look at their sales, they usually have the release games for PS4 and Xbox. Okay, of course, I can understand that it's a business, so they have to cater to the whims of their consumers, and so that tells us a lot about the way Nintendo works here in South Africa. And I'd say it's not as strong as, for example, it is in the Philippines, where there are a lot of customers that are really huge fans of the Nintendo franchises like Pokemon and Mario and so on. I don't know, maybe here it is viewed like, typically these games are viewed like those games are for kids and so on, which is of course completely wrong, But yeah, in here they only focus on PS4 and Xbox. So if you're a gamer in South Africa and you own Sony related stuff, PS3, PS4, or you own Microsoft related stuff like Xbox 360 or the latest Xbox One, then you're fine, okay? But if you are like me, who is a very huge Nintendo fan and only owns Nintendo consoles, then you only get like this, mainstream games like Wolfenstein, Octopath, or Xenoblade. But games that are like recently released, they don't have it yet. So they're not even sure if like what time, for example, Monster Hunter, what date it is coming. Okay, but hopefully it will come, because I really want to play that game on the, on the big screen for the Nintendo Switch. So I didn't show it, but I was also able to buy a dock here in South Africa. But yeah, so that's the status of their video game here. They are Sony and Microsoft centric, so I hope they in the future they support Nintendo as well. Okay, but yeah, basically that will be my Postdoc Chronicles. Again, this is for last week, the Postdoc Chronicles. For this week, I'll probably be able to post it by tomorrow. So we'll see if I don't get busy, all right? Because I'm reading a lot of papers and textbooks right now. But anyway, this has been Postdoc Chronicles week number 17, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.